London say Buckingham Palace has uncovered the truth.
The bloodline files explode once again. Prince William has just frozen Archie's royal status after shocking DNA proof from Harry sparked chaos inside the palace, the burning question tearing through the monarchy right now. He's your son, but is he ours? At exactly 9:07 a.m. on February 12, 2026, Buckingham Palace dropped a bombshell statement that sent the UK and royal watchers everywhere into a frenzy. The announcement, crisp and formal but dripping with tension, confirmed that Prince William had officially rejected a private DNA report submitted by Prince Harry, a report that was supposed to prove little Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor is biologically Harry's son and, therefore, rightful to be listed again in the Royal Household Register. But this wasn't just a brother doubting another brother. No, this was a royal blockade, an institutional wall thrown up right in Harry's face. William's stance was clear. No child claiming royal blood gets a spot in the line of succession without Crown-approved, forensic-level DNA confirmation. Basically, he's saying, we'll handle our own science. Thank you very much. And just like that, the House of Windsor is at war again. The stakes, everything, the legitimacy of not one but two royal children, the reputations of two princes, and the unshakable image of a monarchy built on an unbroken bloodline. The drama kicked off publicly when Harry's legal team sent an explosive file to Clarence House last week. Reports say it was a 72-page dossier stacked with evidence, including a California DNA lab result confirming Harry's paternity of Archie, a sworn affidavit from Meghan Markle recounting her pregnancy timeline from 2018 to 2019, ultrasound records from a private Beverly Hills OBGYN, a copy of Archie's birth certificate, and even a notarized statement from a Portland hospital staff member. The goal behind all this, to bring Archie and Lilibet back into the royal fold, restoring their names, their titles, and their standing in the royal lineage, and with Harry reportedly seeking a full return to the UK after separating from Meghan, this move could have been his first step toward rebuilding everything he lost. But now, with William drawing a line in the royal sand, the palace is bracing for another round of all-out royal warfare. Original word count, 370. Rewritten word count. Rewritten version. Prince William's response wasn't just firm, it was icy and surgical. According to insiders whispering from behind palace walls, William wasted no time before calling an emergency session of the Sovereign Succession Security Council, SSSC, a once-dormant royal body made up of legal, intelligence, and archival experts whose only job is to verify bloodlines whenever things get murky. Within just a few hours, William's office issued what's now being called a royal freeze on Archie's reinstatement attempt, citing what they described as major irregularities and unresolved contradictions. Palace aides have since leaked the foundation of William's objection. A chilling 6-point internal memo now circulating under the explosive title, The Bloodline Files. These are the red flags that William and his council claim still haven't been properly answered. First on the list, a shocking detail. Multiple photos of Meghan Markle during her pregnancy show belly sizes that seem wildly different, even when taken on the same day. Palace investigators say they verified the timestamps, and the royal media forensics team insists that camera angles and clothing can't explain the drastic changes. That revelation has reignited those old, controversial rumors that a prosthetic moon bump may have been used during public appearances. Next, and even more eyebrow-raising, unlike the royal births of William and Catherine's 3 children, there's no signed confirmation from the royal obstetricians, Sir Marcus Setchell or Dr. George Beeson, regarding Meghan's labour or delivery. Even stranger, no hospital discharge records for Archie have ever been filed within the royal archives. Then there's the mystery surrounding Archie's birth certificate. It was quietly amended nearly a month after it was issued, changing Rachel Meghan Markle to Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. Meghan's team insists this edit was directed by palace officials, but William reportedly called the move unprecedented and suspicious. He even pointed out that Catherine's full legal name has remained unchanged on every one of her children's certificates. And finally,
date, different belly sizes. No, it's not the angle the photo is taken. There's no way that any angle could change that size of belly.
the first official photo of baby Archie at Windsor Castle continues to raise serious eyebrows. Lighting experts have confirmed that it was taken with studio-grade equipment, and insiders have described it as More vogue than verified, every detail adds another crack in the royal image. And it's clear, William's camp isn't letting this go anytime soon. Fertility clinic near the Mexican border, a facility notorious for high-end surrogacy services and ironclad confidentiality. The timing couldn't be more suspicious. The transaction happened just 5 days before Meghan's official birth announcement. Insiders claim the clinic specializes in full-service private gestational packages, offering complete discretion to elite clients. But the real bombshell came from a classified audit led by former MI6 cyber cryptologists, now working under the palace's custodian intelligence unit. They reportedly uncovered encrypted notes hidden within the Orwell transaction, notes referencing a non-disclosure agreement between the clinic and a mysterious third party. Those digital clues have now been flagged as possible evidence of a concealed gestational arrangement. Prince William, usually composed and measured, is said to have told his aides, "This is not a rejection of my brother. This is a firewall to protect the monarchy's constitutional credibility." But behind palace doors, insiders whisper that the tension is growing by the hour. A source close to the Privy Council has revealed that William has officially blocked the re-entry of Harry's children into the royal registry until a Crown-certified DNA audit is carried out within the United Kingdom. Meanwhile, Harry has reportedly accused William of weaponizing bureaucracy to delay what he calls a legitimate and rightful claim. As for Meghan, she stayed silent in public. But her legal team has hinted that if the monarchy keeps blocking the children's recognition, they might invoke international human rights law. Now, with the situation spiraling, royal insiders are growing nervous. There's real fear that this feud could open the door to a full-scale public review of every document and decision tied to the Sussexes' royal exit back in 2020, including financial transfers, private agreements, and secret media contracts. The palace may be standing tall for now, but behind those gilded gates, the cracks in the crown are starting to show. Count 389. Rewritten. Word count 446. Rewritten version. Hidden memos that were never meant to see the light of day are now surfacing, and they're shaking the royal walls all over again. After Prince William's dramatic rejection of the DNA report submitted by Prince Harry, the spotlight has jumped across the Atlantic, zeroing in on a California genetics lab, an Oregon lawyer, and a mysteriously deleted email that could completely unravel the Sussexes' claim. At the center of it all stands Horizon Gene Diagnostics, a high-end private DNA testing firm based in Santa Barbara, barely half an hour from the Sussexes' Montecito estate. According to Harry's legal team, this is where a DNA test was performed in mid-January 2026, delivering a result said to be 99.999% certain that Harry is indeed the biological father of Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor. But William's camp isn't buying it. Palace insiders immediately cast serious doubt on the process, raising questions about how the samples were handled. Officials revealed the samples were hand-delivered by a non-neutral party, allegedly Meghan's former chief of staff, instead of through an officially verified, tamper-proof chain of custody. That single misstep has now become the palace's biggest weapon against Harry's case. And it doesn't stop there. Investigators pointed out that Horizon Gene Diagnostics isn't even accredited by the UK's Royal College of Pathologists, nor does it meet the ISO 17025 international standard, the gold benchmark for forensic labs handling legal evidence. Sources close to the Sovereign Succession Security Council, SSSC, claim the whole setup looked custom-made to produce a specific outcome, not to uncover the truth. Oversight for this entire submission was reportedly handled by attorney Douglas Hall, an Oregon-based lawyer known for complex parental rights cases involving international families. According to documents obtained by The Telegraph, Hall didn't just commission the DNA test, he also filed a formal petition with the UK Privy Council on Harry's behalf, pushing for the restoration of royal protections for Archie and Lilibet based solely on that genetic result. Now, with questions swirling around missing emails, accreditation gaps, and a lab barely known outside California, palace sources warn this saga is far from over. Every new leak pulls another thread, and soon, the entire royal fabric might start to unravel. The scandal just got even darker. Douglas Hall, the Oregon lawyer steering Harry's DNA case, is now facing serious heat after a leaked internal email from his office, dated January 22, 2026, was obtained by The Times. The subject line alone is jaw-dropping. "We need optics, not science. The full message reads like something straight out of a political thriller. If Horizon Gene won't expedite results by the 26th, find a partner lab willing to certify pre-analysis validity. It doesn't have to be bulletproof. It just needs to look unimpeachable. We need optics, not science. The palace will only see the paperwork. When confronted, Hall didn't deny the email's authenticity. Instead, in a vague press statement, he brushed it off, claiming the message was taken out of context during procedural prep. But that explanation hasn't cooled the storm. If anything, it's made things worse. Adding to the chaos, Prince William's office released a new official timeline, backed by banking surveillance data and courier records. It shows the DNA sample was flown from Los Angeles to London on January 24th, but here's the twist. An identical sample was also sent to a second lab in Zurich. That Zurich lab reportedly never received payment, meaning the analysis was never run. Palace investigators say that second shipment wasn't a mistake. It was a backup plan. The theory: the Sussex team allegedly anticipated that the authorities might reject the California results, so they tried to build parallel proof trails in advance. And if that wasn't suspicious enough, leaked logs from the Zurich facility's internal system show the sample labeled practice use only. No official chain of custody was ever established there either. One senior Home Office insider was even quoted privately saying, "This doesn't read like a paternity test. It reads like the climax of a Netflix documentary." The optics, indeed, are blinding. A Hollywood-adjacent DNA lab, a foreign legal team, a strategically timed release, and a soft media push from pro-Sussex outlets, all unfolding while Buckingham Palace stayed silent but busy behind the scenes. But now that silence is starting to crack wide open, and with every new leak, the royal family's carefully guarded facade looks closer than ever to collapse. Original word count 398. Rewritten word count 460. Rewritten version: if Horizon cast the first shadow, then MI6 just pulled the blackout curtain shut. As the palace's internal war over Prince Harry's disputed DNA proof deepens, the bloodline files have taken a much darker, and far more explosive, turn. Sources close to the Sovereign Succession Security Council, SSSC, reveal that a classified intelligence dossier, written by former MI6 operatives and encrypted under the codename File Sigma, has been officially reactivated. The report's chilling subject line: Disruption of Lineal Continuity, Sussex Asset Irregularities, 2019 to 2023. And right at the center of this top-secret file lies a tangled triangle: a payment, a clinic, and a mystery that could redefine what the Crown considers legitimate royal blood. According to the leaked intel on May 1st, 2019, just 5 days before the palace publicly announced Archie's birth, a wire transfer of exactly $499,900 was made by Archwell LLC, the recipient, a private reproductive medical center near Tijuana, Mexico, whispered about among the world's wealthiest families for its elite-level surrogacy coordination and absolute confidentiality. This particular clinic, its name still redacted in official reports, is said to operate under a loose licensing structure that doesn't require public registration of gestational carriers. Insiders say it also specializes in offshore births, often using anonymous egg donors and custom fertility programs designed to erase digital trails. The implications are staggering.
Sanitizing. I am dealing with facts, as simple as that. And there is no doubt that something tremendously odd and a very disturbing.
But here's the most shocking part. This secret transaction wasn't exposed by journalists or any public watchdogs. It was uncovered by a former MI6 crypto-analysis team, now working as palace cyber analysts under the newly formed custodian unit. Their digital audit traced the funds directly from Archwell LLC's secondary account, through 2 shell intermediaries in Delaware and the Cayman Islands, before finally landing in a numbered Mexican account tied to a corporate holding company called Forza Biomed SA. This discovery has sent tremors through the monarchy's inner circle. What was supposed to be a private matter of paternity has now spiraled into a full-blown intelligence operation, and with File Sigma unlocked, insiders are warning that the next revelations could be catastrophic for the royal family's image. Original word count 425. Rewritten word count, 485. Rewritten version. What exactly? A source deep inside the custodian unit dropped the bomb. This wasn't a prenatal checkup. This was a full-package gestational contract, and the timing is beyond shocking. It allegedly happened just 5 days before Archie's birth was officially announced. For years, royal watchers and critics have clashed over what came to be known back in 2019 as the infamous moon bump theory. That viral online rumor claimed Meghan Markle might have worn a prosthetic baby belly during her pregnancy appearances. At the time, major news outlets dismissed it as a cruel, baseless, and prejudiced smear. But behind palace walls, it turns out visual forensics quietly continued. Now, with MI6 analysts reopening those old archives, new findings have come to light, and they're setting the palace ablaze. 3 photos of Meghan, dated March 5, 2019, taken at 2 separate London engagements, one at King's College and another at a charity roundtable, are now under tight review. In one image, Meghan's bump appears full, round, and sitting low, while in another, taken just hours later, her stomach looks noticeably smaller, higher, and even shows wrinkling beneath her coat, suggesting the presence of synthetic material. A palace-commissioned 3D depth analysis later concluded that no organic pregnancy could show that much change in mass and curvature within 6 hours. To make matters worse, a former royal staffer, speaking anonymously, made an even more unsettling claim. The maternity suite at Frogmore Cottage was always spotless. No delivery setup, no baby supplies, not even a breast pump. It felt staged. These revelations have reportedly sparked emergency-level meetings between Prince William, Princess Anne, and the King's constitutional advisors. The discussions, insiders say, are laser-focused on one thing: the rules of royal household legitimacy. According to strict palace protocol, any child claiming a royal title or place in the royal household register must meet 3 unbreakable conditions: a verifiable bloodline connected to a current royal, a birth formally recognized by the Royal Medical Office, a continuous authenticated paper trail reviewed and sealed by palace clerks. With new visual data and insider testimony colliding, it's clear this isn't just about DNA anymore. It's about whether the crown itself has been misled from within. Right now, none of the royal legitimacy standards officially apply to Archie or Lilibet, at least not with full palace consensus. And this battle goes way beyond names scribbled on ancient parchment. As royal historian Dr. Miles Grayson bluntly put it, this isn't about parenting, it's about the survival of the monarchy's legal and symbolic core. Because if the royal bloodline is even partially disrupted, intentionally or not, it could shake centuries of royal precedent to the ground. Late last night, Prince Harry, through his London-based legal team, fired back with a powerful statement. Prince William is weaponizing doubt to delay justice for his niece and nephew. This is not a monarchy of paternity tests. This is a family. Archie and Lilibet are ours, and they are Windsor's. But inside palace walls, not everyone's buying Harry's plea. Sources close to Prince William insist the Duke's response is pure emotion. A heartfelt reaction, sure, but not grounded in royal duty. One insider close to Queen Consort Camilla reportedly remarked, Harry wants the perks of royal status without the scrutiny that comes with it. But we don't run on sentiment. We run on record. Then came the move that silenced everyone. On the evening of February 11, 2026, a velvet-bound file marked Lineage 1 Urgent was hand-delivered from Buckingham Palace straight to the Royal Register Office. Inside that file was a formal directive, personally signed by Prince William, now acting under authority of the Crown Succession Security Council, CSSC. The order was crystal clear. An emergency lockdown of the Royal Household Register. No new modifications, additions, or validations concerning Archie or Lilibet's royal status are to be processed until a full-spectrum bloodline review is completed. In plain terms, that means Archie and Lilibet have been placed in royal limbo, frozen between recognition and rejection. What started as a private family feud over DNA has now exploded into a constitutional custody crisis. Behind closed doors, officials fear this could unravel decades of concealed royal procedures, hidden agreements, and buried secrets tied to succession law. The monarchy's polished image, so carefully painted in tradition, silence, and portraiture, now faces its biggest crack in generations. And as of tonight, the question echoing through Buckingham's marble halls is chillingly simple. What if the crown's purest bloodline was never pure at all? Original word count, 441. Rewritten word count, 501. Rewritten version. Since the reign of Victoria, the register has stood as a sacred sealed book of record, the official archive where every Windsor descendant's name, title, and legitimacy is permanently inscribed. But never, not once in modern royal history, has an entry been frozen after submission. Until now. Sources familiar with the palace's internal lockdown confirm that Prince William took an extraordinary step. He invoked Clause 6 of the Sovereign Child Declaration Act, an obscure yet still binding protocol first introduced in 1837. This rarely touched clause grants the heir to the throne the absolute power to suspend any royal lineage claim if there's even a hint of ambiguity, disruption, or forensic dispute. Former royal archivist Edward Lonsdale described the move bluntly. It's the nuclear button of lineage control, and it hasn't been pressed in over a century. The consequences are massive. Despite Prince Harry's ongoing push to have Archie and Lilibet reinstated into the royal fold through DNA proof, all royal titles, inheritance rights, and ceremonial privileges tied to them are now completely frozen. This lockdown isn't just symbolic, it's operational. Palace insiders reveal that both children's digital profiles were manually removed from the active royal registry system, and royal IT teams have placed hard flags preventing any future updates to their status without internal review and clearance from the Crown's Succession Security Council. But just when it seemed William had full control, another power quietly stepped back into the spotlight: King Charles III. According to two high-level palace sources, a sealed private memo, written by Charles in December 2025, just weeks before his health evaluation, has now been unsealed at William's direct request. While the memo's full contents remain classified, its existence and title have been verified. Sussex Children and the Threshold of Trust. Here's what insiders can confirm. The document was secured under Level 1 VY clearance at Marlborough House and written shortly after Princess Anne briefed the King about timeline inconsistencies in Archie's birth records. Within it, Charles reportedly outlined a set of recommendations for royal action should further forensic irregularities ever come to light. For now, that memo sits like a ticking time bomb inside the palace, sealed in protocol, loaded with implications, and ready to redefine not just who inherits the crown, but who can rightfully claim to be royal at all. Original word count, 471. Rewritten word count, 530. Rewritten version. Palace insiders now whisper that the King's sealed memo contains something explosive, a preliminary royal directive giving consent to deny hereditary recognition to any royal child not born under verified and observable conditions. One aide who claims to have read the document said, "Charles was torn in two. As a grandfather, he felt love. As a sovereign, he felt pressure. In the end, he reportedly deferred to William's judgment, sealing his trust, and the monarchy's future, in his eldest son's hands." But just hours later, at 8 a.m. on February 12th, the battle lines were redrawn. Meghan Markle's legal team came out swinging, filing a preemptive counter-motion in the UK High Court, accusing Prince William and the Privy Council of staging what they call a custodial coup disguised as a royal lineage investigation. The filing, dense and fiery, argues that Archie and Lilibet are dual citizens of both the UK and the US, and therefore protected by international family law. Meghan's lawyers claim that the Royal Household Register isn't a statutory civil body and has no lawful authority to define a child's identity or legitimacy. In their words, the monarchy's actions to remove or suspend the children's names amount to institutional erasure. To drive the point home, Meghan's legal team attached personal photographs of Archie's birthday celebration in Montecito, along with a sworn letter from actor Tyler Perry, reaffirming that Meghan carried, delivered, and nurtured both children as any mother would, amid extraordinary public abuse. Despite the emotional weight of the filing, Buckingham Palace has kept its lips sealed. No statement, no leaks, no comment. Insiders say that silence is highly strategic. Behind the gilded walls, however, the royal divide is now unmistakable. Princess Anne is said to be firmly aligned with William, even pushing for an independent royal medical tribunal to verify every claim once and for all. Meanwhile, Prince Edward is reportedly uneasy with the harshness of the process, but insists that the monarchy cannot afford another unverified scandal. As for Queen Camilla, she's remained publicly quiet. But sources at Clarence House say she was overheard during a closed-door meeting saying, "The crown must stand taller than its scandal." And then there's Harry. Palace insiders describe him as livid and heartbroken, feeling betrayed not just by his brother, but by the very institution he once called home. One official who overheard a recent call between the two princes described it as short, sharp, and ice-cold. Now, with a suspended royal registry, a sealed royal memo, and two brothers locked in constitutional combat, the House of Windsor isn't just divided, it's on the brink of a royal civil war. Original word count, 487. Rewritten. Word count, 548. Rewritten version, with every legal argument drained and every family bond stretched to point. The crisis gripping the British royal family has spiraled into something far more explosive than a feud over paperwork. It's now a battle for the very soul of the throne. At the burning core of this firestorm is Prince William's unprecedented move to suspend all hereditary titles and inheritance privileges connected to Prince Harry's children, Archie and Lilibet, until the completion of what's being called a full-spectrum ethics review. The investigation is being led by a newly reactivated royal body, the Royal Commission for Lineal Ethics and Continuity, RCLEC. And as of February 12, 2026, this commission isn't just a concept, it's fully operational. With the Royal Register locked and the children's legitimacy still under review, William has now issued a formal advisory to the College of Arms, ordering an immediate freeze on the ceremonial use of the titles Prince and Princess for Archie and Lilibet. The advisory might not be a full legal revocation under letters patent, but make no mistake, it's binding in practice. This royal directive bars court officials, palace aides, military attachés, and even royal event coordinators from using any formal royal styling when referring to the Sussex children. Until the bloodline investigation concludes to the Crown's satisfaction, Archie and Lilibet are to be treated as non-titled minors. The official statement attached to the advisory reads, "The styling of prince or princess shall be withheld as a matter of institutional integrity." According to insiders, the decision weighed heavily on William. Sources say he agonized over it for days, but ultimately saw it as essential given the intense global scrutiny surrounding the children's biological origins and the potential implications for royal succession. Yet, what's emerging next could ignite an even greater scandal. More dangerous than titles, more personal than lineage, is the shadow of Princess Diana's estate. Under the terms of Diana's updated 1996 will, her fortune and personal assets were to be divided equally between her two sons, and crucially, passed on to their legitimate descendants. But with Archie and Lilibet's legitimacy now formally suspended, palace financial advisors and trustees of the Diana Trust are reportedly seeking legal clarification. The question now echoing across both royal and legal circles is chilling. If William's freeze holds, could Archie and Lilibet be denied access to their grandmother's inheritance? For the first time since Diana's passing, her name and legacy are being pulled back into a succession scandal, one that pits not just brother against brother, but the memory of a beloved princess against the machinery of the monarchy itself. Original word count, 447. Rewritten word count, 514. Rewritten version, valued at over £22 million, Princess Diana's Legacy Fund has become the royal war. Multiple palace sources confirm that Prince William has been in private discussions with the Trust's Board of Trustees, quietly raising the possibility of placing Archie and Lilibet's inheritance share into escrow. Locked away until the Royal Commission for Lineal Ethics and Continuity, RCLEC, reaches its final ruling. If this plan moves forward, it would freeze all immediate financial access to the Sussex children's portion of the trust, a devastating blow, especially as insiders believe Harry has been relying heavily on that inheritance to secure his children's future following the collapse of the RQL brand and the couple's shrinking financial empire. In private, Harry is said to be furious and heartbroken. He reportedly told a close friend, "This is a betrayal, not just of me, but of Mom." Diana would never have let bloodline paranoia override her love for her grandchildren. She believed in hearts, not birth certificates. But palace advisors see it differently. To them, it's not cruelty, it's duty. As Lord Pembroke, an unofficial legal consultant to the Sovereign Council, bluntly stated, This is not a matter of sentiment. It is a matter of fiduciary responsibility. Until legitimacy is verified, the trustees must act with caution.
To ask the audience here, much more important question. Meghan, there, is that a real baby bump, or has she strapped it on? Because
weird.
She's got form for strapping on baby bumps.
That's why, for the first time in living royal memory, the Royal Commission for Lineal Ethics and Continuity, RCLEC, is stepping into the public eye. Originally established under Royal Charter in 1975, the Commission has only ever operated quietly in the background, until now. The panel, now convening in full, is made up of 7 elite members. 2 senior lords from the House of Lords Ethics Committee, a retired Privy Council judge, the Royal Archivist General, a constitutional historian from Oxford University, the Archbishop of Canterbury's legal representative, and 1 former intelligence officer, identity withheld for security reasons. Their mission? Nothing less than to define the ethical boundaries of royal bloodline legitimacy in the modern age. Behind the polished palace facade, the atmosphere is electric, a mix of panic, pride, and paranoia. Because this commission's ruling won't just decide what Archie and Lilibet inherit, it could rewrite the rules of who gets to be royal in the first place. Original word count, 474. Rewritten word count, 538. Rewritten version, the task before the Royal Commission for Lineal Ethics and Continuity, RCLEC, is monumental. To decide whether Archie and Lilibet's lineage meets the minimum threshold of legal, moral, and ceremonial legitimacy required to either retain or reclaim standing within the royal household. This isn't just about DNA, explained royal historian Fiona Travers. This is about trust, tradition, and the survival of the monarchy in an age where even reality can be digitally manipulated. Sources confirm the RCLEC has already demanded a sweeping collection of records, every version of Archie and Lilibet's birth certificates, Meghan Markle's travel logs from the year leading up to both births, surveillance data around Frogmore Cottage, and redacted copies of Archwell's financial transfers. The scope of the inquiry is unlike anything the palace has ever faced. If the commission ultimately determines that the children's births don't align with the legal and ceremonial standards required by royal succession law, the fallout would be seismic. Under such a ruling, Archie and Lilibet would be permanently erased from the royal register. Any and all title claims, even honorary ones, would be legally extinguished. That would mean no future royal duties, no appearances at jubilees or state visits, and complete exclusion from all official ceremonial roles. Even worse, their inheritance rights from Princess Diana's trust could be nullified or redirected under fiduciary law. But the potential consequences might not stop with the children. Palace insiders warn that the Commission's legal counsel has discussed the possibility of stripping Prince Harry himself of his HRH styling if it's determined that he knowingly misrepresented royal lineage in pursuit of institutional or financial gain. Historian Fiona Travers summed up the stakes perfectly. The monarchy has weathered scandal, exile, even abdication, but a falsified bloodline. That would trigger a reckoning the crown hasn't faced in its 1,000-year history. And the public? They're watching every twist in disbelief. A new YouGov poll, released on the evening of February 12th, shows 62% of UK citizens support the RCLEC review, while 47% believe the children's titles should remain suspended until the investigation ends. Yet 41% still sympathise with Prince Harry, calling William's approach bureaucratic brutality. Across social media, the royal debate has become electric, half the world defending tradition, the other half demanding compassion. But one truth is undeniable. Whatever the RCLEC decides, the monarchy's definition of royal blood may never be the same again. Original word count, 505. Rewritten word count, 567. Rewritten version, the internet is on fire. Hashtags like hashtag #ArchieTruthFiles and hashtag #DianaWoodLovedThem are dominating social media, but so is the darker countertrend, hashtag #CrownOrChaos. The countdown has officially begun, and the monarchy now teeters on the brink of its most personal and explosive constitutional verdict in over a century. Behind the wrought iron gates of Buckingham Palace, and deep within the encrypted data vaults of the Royal Commission for Lineal Ethics and Continuity, RCLEC, a historic decision is being finalised. The question at the heart of it all is simple. yet shattering. Do Archie and Lilibet legally and ethically belong to the House of Windsor? As of February 13, 2026, the final report, compiled after 6 days of relentless review into birth records, financial transactions, and private testimonies, now sits on the desks of 3 people only: Prince William, Princess Anne, and the Lord Chancellor. The Commission's final judgment remains sealed under royal protocol, but the emotional, legal, and political shockwaves are already spreading far beyond the palace walls. Meanwhile, Meghan Markle, who has stayed mostly silent throughout the RCLEC's tense proceedings, is reportedly ready to break her silence, and in a very big way. According to sources close to her legal team, Meghan has already recorded a personal interview filmed 2 nights ago at her Montecito estate. The recording, set to be released within hours of the Commission's ruling, is said to be deeply emotional and fiercely direct. In the upcoming message, Meghan is expected to deliver a raw defense of her motherhood, recounting the intimate details of her pregnancy and childbirth experiences. Sources familiar with the footage say Meghan passionately insists that this entire investigation is rooted not in science, but in misogyny, class bias, and institutional gatekeeping. In one especially powerful moment, she declares, "I carried my children, I gave birth to them, and now they're being erased. This isn't about lineage, it's about power, fear, and control." The production is reportedly being coordinated by an independent American media outlet, not Netflix, not Spotify, and will be distributed directly across YouTube, Instagram, and several international news syndicates. Insiders describe the timing as no accident. Meghan's message could land just as the palace prepares to announce the RCLEC's findings, a move that could either rally global sympathy or ignite a full-blown constitutional crisis. One palace official put it bluntly, "We're hours away from a verdict that could change royal history, and Meghan's about to speak louder than the crown itself." Original word count, 500. Rewritten word count, 565. Rewritten version, inside Buckingham Palace, tension is at a breaking point. Staff are bracing for impact. With the RCEC verdict imminent, Prince William is preparing his own counterstrike. A carefully crafted statement described as measured, constitutional, and monumental in tone. The document, titled "On the Matter of Lineage and Constitutional Continuity," has reportedly been finalized and scheduled for public release within 24 hours of the Commission's ruling. Sources confirm the speech has already been approved in principle by King Charles before his most recent medical retreat, a sign that this statement will represent not just William's stance, but the official position of the Crown itself. The address will reportedly outline 3 historic declarations: the official outcome of the RCLEC inquiry, the permanent registry status of Archie and Lilibet, the Crown's future policy on succession, claims from descendants not born under verified royal conditions. Those who've seen early drafts describe the tone as unflinching but deeply human. According to palace insiders, William acknowledges the emotional cost of the crisis but insists the monarchy's foundation must be protected, even if it means personal sacrifice. At one point, he is said to deliver a powerful line. "This decision was not made with malice. It was made with duty. I would rather carry the weight of public backlash than risk the erosion of royal truth." People close to him say William has come to terms with the consequences, even if that means losing Harry forever. "He's accepted that family peace might be the price for institutional integrity," one aide explained. But just as the palace readies for its official announcement, a mystery twist has emerged, one that could change everything. A sealed travel manifest, reportedly leaked by Heathrow customs officials, lists a private jet scheduled to land on the morning of February 14, 2026. The registered passengers, 1 adult male, travelling under the name Henry Mountbatten Windsor, accompanied by 2 minor dependents. The departure point, Van Nuys Airport, California. The aircraft operator? A discreet international charter firm regularly used by senior royals. But here's the shocker. There's no mention of Meghan Markle, no visible security detail, and no press coverage planned at the destination. Palace aides have refused to confirm or deny the authenticity of the manifest. But multiple royal insiders are whispering the same thing. Prince Harry may be returning to the UK, alone, with Archie and Lilibet in tow. Royal correspondent Olivia Hart summed up the atmosphere perfectly. If this is true, it's an extraordinary gesture. not of defiance, but of desperation. Harry may be walking straight back into the storm to fight for his children face to face. Original word count, 589. Rewritten word count, 654. Rewritten version. It may be Prince Harry's last desperate attempt to prove that his children belong, not just by presence. After months of silence and speculation, sources say his sudden return to the UK could be a symbolic act, a father's stand to remind the world that family comes before protocol. But not everyone is convinced. Some inside Buckingham Palace are warning that this could be strategic misdirection. As one insider bluntly put it, this family plays chess, not checkers. Outside the palace gates, chaos brews beneath the grey London sky. Journalists from around the world have started setting up camp, cameras pointed toward Buckingham's iron fences. The headlines sweeping across Europe tonight are relentless. Children in limbo, royal verdict imminent. The Times. The Prince and the DNA files. Le Monde. Lilibet's lost lineage. Der Spiegel. Markle versus monarchy. Who owns the bloodline? The Guardian. Public opinion remains brutally divided. To some, Meghan Markle stands as a modern mother being crushed under the weight of ancient tradition. To others, Prince William is the protector of royal continuity, doing what's necessary to preserve the monarchy's integrity. And many now see Prince Harry as a tragic figure, a man torn between love, loyalty, and legacy, forced to choose between family and fate. The stakes couldn't be higher. If the RCLEC rules in favour of Archie and Lilibet, the children will be reinstated into the royal register, restored as prince and princess, officially added back into the line of succession, and eligible to receive inheritance disbursements from Princess Diana's trust. But if the RCLEC rules against them, the verdict will be devastating. Archie and Lilibet will be formally and permanently excluded from royal status. All legal and ceremonial claims will be voided, and any attempt to publicly use royal titles could trigger legal rebuke from the Crown. Even Prince Harry himself may face disciplinary review for misrepresentation of lineage. The Commission's final clause grants the power of veto to the King, or, if he's unable, to the Prince of Wales. But palace sources say William has already made up his mind. He intends to accept the RCLEC's ruling, whatever it may be, and make it binding. As the world waits, one truth has become undeniable. This is no longer just a royal scandal. It's a global reckoning about power, legacy, and identity. 2 brothers, 2 children, 1 bloodline, and one question that could define the monarchy for a generation. Does birth alone make you royal, or must the crown recognize you first? Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the explosive final reveal of the Bloodline Files.